Australia didn't just send pilots to World War II, it sent some of the fiercest aviators the war ever saw. And at the top of that list stands one man, Clive Robertson Caldwell. Clive was born in Lewisham, New South Wales in 1911. He grew up in Sydney, was educated at Balmain Public School, Trinity and Sydney Grammar, and then joined the Bank of New South Wales in 1928. After a few years, he left and worked as a jackaroo, ran a small garage in Darlinghurst with a mate, and later joined the Mutual Life and Citizens Assurance Company, what we now know as MLC. In 1938, at the age of 27, he earned his pilot's licence, and a year later, the world descended into war. Caldwell knew exactly where he wanted to be and where he belonged, but he was considered too old for fighter training, so he had a pharmacist friend quietly alter his birth certificate to let him enlist and chase his dream. He earned his wings in 1940 and was soon flying combat missions with the RAF and the RAAF across the Middle East. Early on, he struggled with one of the hardest skills in air combat, deflection shooting. It took him around 30 operational sorties before he scored his first confirmed kill. Instead of giving up, he started experimenting. Flying low over the desert one day, he noticed the shadow of an aircraft racing across the sand. Judging distance, the plane was hard, but judging distance, the shadow was easy. So he began training himself by firing at the shadow of his own aircraft on the desert floor, learning lead, angle, and timing. He called it shadow shooting. Later, he explained it simply. If I could hit the shadow, I could hit the aircraft. The technique quickly spread across the Desert Air Force and dramatically improved Allied gunnery. And once it clicked, everything changed. By late 1941, Caldwell had become one of the most lethal pilots in the desert. On the 5th of December 1941, he destroyed 5 German Stuka dive bombers in minutes, becoming an ace in a day. It was after this run of victories that his squadron gave him the name that followed him forever, Killer Caldwell. By the time he left North Africa, he was the highest scoring Allied P-40 pilot of the war. When the fight came closer to home, he returned to Australia and flew Spitfires, defending the country from Japanese attacks, and added more victories to his tally. Across the war, he flew over 300 operational sorties and was officially credited with 28.5 enemy aircraft destroyed, making him Australia's highest scoring fighter ace of World War II and becoming Australia's ace of aces. For his service, he received the Distinguished Flying Cross and Bar, the Distinguished Service Order and the Polish Cross of Valour. But his career wasn't without controversy. In 1945, while commanding number 80 wing on Morotai, he became a central figure in the Morotai Mutiny, when senior pilots protested that they believed was wasteful and dangerous operations of aircraft and aircrew. Though cleared of wrongdoing, he was later court-martialed over the illegal trade of alcohol to US troops in order to obtain equipment he couldn't get through normal channels. He was found guilty, reduced in rank, and left the Air Force later in 1946. But that didn't slow him down. He became a purchasing agent, securing surplus aircraft and military equipment for the United States and shipping it back to Australia. He then joined the Sydney import-export firm and became its chairman. In later years, he spoke about the war modestly. But on the 5th of August 1994, aged 83, Clive Caldwell passed away and Australians mourned the loss of a national hero. And that's the story of Clive Killer Caldwell, Australia's ace of aces and one of the greatest fighter pilots this country has ever produced.